Hello again, everyone. We are Gaming by Gaslight, and welcome to another edition of the Starbound mod showcase. On today's mod, I have a question for you. Do you feel that you are a hoarder in Starbound? Do you feel that it is a pain in the ass sometimes to sort all your inventory and to just find places to store stuff? Do you find that you have crates just piling up to the ceiling and you're going absolutely crazy trying to figure out how to organize things? If so, StarTech might be the mod for you. StarTech is basically a mod that, well, I'll show it off rather than try to explain it. Basically, start off with your handy-dandy inventor's table, and you make yourself just the simple things you need to get started are transmatter controller, drive bay, and the terminal. Also, go ahead and, make a storage bus and maybe some of these storage drives while you're at it, and maybe even a network relay if you really want. Those are, we'll get into what those all do, but the key things are just the controller, the terminal, and, what are the names again? And the drive bay. Yes. I have to make sure I remember these names, because I'm terrible at remembering names. But basically, what you want to do, you set them up however you want. These are items that like... Oh, Gaslight. Show it off properly. This doesn't want to come up. Alright. Basically, it's very secure. So you don't have to worry about criminals stealing your stuff. But what you want to do, as you can see, like, you can't just place this down anywhere. This sort of behaves kind of like a table or any object that you would just have on the floor. Same with our drive bay here, is what I was trying to get at with all that rambling there. Where did I put these? We got these. We got these. Okay, good. So we have our drive bays here. What you want to do, just chuck a drive bay in. Maybe chuck 2 if you want. Chuck as many as you want, really. But then what you want to do is wire everything to each other, like so. And then you can use the terminal. And from there, you can start... Just, much like you would with putting stuff in a chest, just, shift click. And you can start just chucking everything in there. Get all your junk out of your inventory, so you don't even have to worry about it anymore. There you go, just get all of it in there. All nice and spick and span. Even throw some seeds in there. Let's see how much room we have in this thing. A pretty reasonable amount, actually. Let's throw our rotten food in there as well. As you can see, it also automatically stacks for us, which is always useful, quite frankly, when stuff stacks. And what happens, in case you're wondering where all those items went, they went into the storage drives. So let's pop off a drive. As you can see, some of the items are gone. Pop this drive off. All of the items are gone. That's basically just the basic starting point for this, is that you just have your drives. As you can see, there are filters and priorities, which I haven't played too much around with what these do exactly. But there is a guide that I have also found that helps explain in a bit of a more sort of step-by-step tutorial manner, which would be probably a lot more useful than this sort of quick overview sort of thing we're doing in this episode. That'll help you get started, and I'll link to that guide in the description. But the basic idea is you can have these drives, they fill up with your storage, and then you can take them with you and then just plop them into any other little drive bay, and wherever you have a setup like this, you can easily move all your objects around. Very handy, if you ask me. And also, as you can see here with your terminal, you can just look up items, which is very useful, especially if you get a really big network here. But you might also be thinking, well, Gaslight, even though the biggest drive bay is 256 kilobytes of storage, and you can fit, like 8 of them in there, I have too many items. That simply won't be enough. Well, for one, there's nothing stopping you from putting multiple drive bays together, but alternatively, and that's where this handy-dandy wrench, which you can craft at your anvil, comes into play. This is where the bus comes in. So you just kind of smack that bus over there. And you don't need to use one of these relays. I'm just using this relay for the sake of using every single object here. But basically, you want to place down your bus, which we've done, and then if this little blue light is not pointing towards your storage, what you want to do is right-click until it is, and to really highlight exactly what that's doing, we'll take out our storage drives, and as you can see, everything that was in the chest is now accessible via this terminal. Pretty useful, huh? And basically, if you're wondering what the point of the relay is, if you haven't played around with wires too much, you probably don't know this, but they have a finite range. You can't just stretch them all the way across the planet. Eventually, as you can see right there, they just run out of room. So if you have a really big storage network, just the default wire length might not be enough. So you can get huge wire networks, so you could basically have multiple little structures and bases all over a planet and have them all connect to each other, all in one place. Just that useful, really. And of course, the good thing about having these storage disks is that then you could warp up to your ship, for instance, where we already have a lovely little set of storage things here, and then you could just plop in those, and then as you can see, all your items, plus all the items that are in here, plus in the drive that was already in there, all accessible, all here, all right there. Very useful indeed. So that's just a quick look at what this can do. You're probably already imagining the very, very vast number of possibilities. For me, just looking at this, the most obvious thing this does is it allows me to, if I were to store everything in big 256K drives, I could basically have every single item that I consider valuable safe, basically. Because then I could wipe the universe, wipe my ship even, and as long as I had those in my inventory, or, you know, wipe my character, well, no, if I wipe my character, I'd lose the ship. But, you know, well, if I had it on planet. Basically, the idea is that you could keep a vast number of items nicely organized all in one place, even if you got rid of a character or the universe or just wiped stuff. I mean, as long as you didn't wipe everything at the same time, because then it wouldn't really matter. But if you, like, I don't know, had a planet that was saved, but then something happened to your character, you could still have all these items here. Or if you wanted to wipe your universe because you had some mods and then they weren't playing nice with each other and you had to kind of restart everything or else everything just went to hell, you could easily store things that way. And, yeah. Basically, just a nice way to keep things organized, nice way to find things, nice way to easily move vast quantities of items around and keep stuff organized without the hassle of having to, depending on what mods you have, you might, you know, like, well, I can't get rid of the base storage thing, but, you know, this ship locker, I do have a mod that we looked at before, which allows you to keep all your stuff in the locker when you're, actually forget which mod that was, but, you know, we do have a mod that does that. But if you didn't have that mod, then, you know, you'd have to worry about the hassle of, you know, you break your storage, then all the stored items get thrown about, and then you have to reorganize everything when you set everything up in one place. But with StarTech, you just fit everything into these handy little drives, and from there, it's just a simple matter of you stick it into the drive bay, and then everything is back and easily accessible. Incidentally, I don't think I showed how you get these items back. There's two ways to get items back. Either you double-click, like so, or you choose an item, and then you can pick the quantity that you want out of these options here. Like if we only want it 1 living root, or if we want it all 1,000. Of course, there's not actually 1,000 there, but that's the basic idea of that. Very useful stuff. And this is just a very, very quick, basic beginner's overview of what this mod does. There is more, and it's still in development, so we can probably look forward to seeing even more fancy features added in the future. But for the purposes of this showcase, it's mostly just to show how to get started and let you know that this mod exists if you didn't already know about it. It's very useful, very helpful, and yeah, so go out and take a look at it for yourself. But that's going to do it for this episode, so until the next time, thank you all for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.